Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day with us on the Live with Lloyd. I am your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn, for this July 17th, a Wednesday of 2024. Thank you very much for joining us. There's a couple of things I need to make announcements. First, let me get the sponsors done. The sponsor is Nicholas Brooklyn. They're at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn, New York City. And Monique is a excellent owner of the store with her beautiful daughter Nicole, and it's just very nice. Also, I want to thank Dr. Riza Islam, although he's not a medical doctor, with the knowledge he has, he might as well be. With his intellectual powers, products, health products is excellent. Also, sponsor is from King Simon, making a salute to Baba Dick Gregory on October 13th. He will be on at some point to talk about his children's book that he just released. And so I look forward to that. And lastly, the show is also sponsored by Miss Kimberly with Manifest on Purpose every Monday and Wednesday. And before we start, I want to start with the forecast for today. It is Wednesday, July 17th of 2024. The sun is in Cancer. The moon is in Sagittarius. It's going to be a full moon this weekend, and also the summer solstice too. So that should be interesting. It's a 6 universal month, a 9 universal week, a 5 universal day. So those are the signs out there that are Virgos and Geminis, and those that are born on the 5th, the 14th, and the 23rd. Um, it's your day. It's your day. Um, it's interesting. I was talking about the United States earlier in the month, but what I forgot to mention this past Monday on the 15th, that the Sunday before on the 14th marked 3 years that Live with Lloyd has now been on YouTube, and it's amazing how much it has grown. I do have to thank this beautiful lady here, Jackie Barrios. It was she at her home in Philly that said, Lloyd, you need to do this. I says, no, I don't. I really didn't. I'm so used to from 20 years of being in radio behind a mic where I didn't have to comb my hair, brush my teeth, whatever the case is. And she was the one that convinced me to do it. And she gave me an outline. I drove back to New York. I promised her I would do it. And when I did, I've targeted the date of July 14th of 2021. And it has been a wonderful experience. And her partner, who also between she and this is Jasmine Santilla. Uh, they worked together. In fact, she was working under Jackie Barrios, and they got me together. They formed a website and whatnot. In fact, when you receive the newsletter and the email, this is the young lady that produces it each and every month. But I must thank Jackie very much. Had somebody says, Lloyd, you be doing this a year, much less 3 years, I'd say a year, right? But uh, I'm going to have her on during the summer too. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to acknowledge it. The beautiful thing in having parents, because I consider a family, okay, that is a word that seems to not be as pronounced or as popular as it is, but we're all family. We are an extended family, the family of man, call it speak. But this is my Live with Lloyd family. There's so many of you who come and support me religiously each and every week. So it's like family as far as I'm concerned. And that's how I like to treat things. And far as Jackie's concerned and Jasmine is concerned, all of this has come about as a result of the way my father and mother raised me. Never be afraid to give another person their props, because we all get started somewhere. Somebody helps us along the line. No man is an island, as they say. So I'm just saying that this is what I just wanted to give thanks, because it makes 3 years. And now she's selling life insurance. So she'll be on talking about that soon. One of the things I want to talk about finishing up is what state whatever state you're in, what is the zodiac sign of that state? Maybe some of you know, probably the majority of you don't know or have a clue. Um, there is for example, one of my best friends, a Scorpio, moved to North Carolina. Well, unbeknown to him, North Carolina is under the sign of Scorpio. And as a result, he says he's been doing well. I don't think he's been there about 2 months yet. And he's doing very, very well. It just seems to work with him. So maybe this will explain why there may be some states you live in that doesn't work that well, or there may be some states you live in that everything is just going like clockwork. But anyway, I'm going to talk about all the states, and then I'm going to give a synopsis of the birth dates of those states, as well as the elements assigned to those states, whether they're fire sign, water sign, air sign, earth sign states. Okay. But first of all, I'm going to start at the top with Aries, and this is taken from my book, Lloyd's Book of Numbers, a numerology guide for the 21st century and beyond, where I list about the zodiac signs of the presidents, which I didn't do. But what I want to do is do the states because I've never done that. Then I did some additional research, which you'll see in a moment. There are no Aries states at all. There are no Libra states at all. So out of the 12 signs in the zodiac, there are only 2 signs that are omitted or not found in any of the 50 states in the United States. So I'm going to start with Taurus. For Taurus, those who live in Maryland, Louisiana, Minnesota, they're Taurus states. Gemini states, South Carolina, Rhode Island, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Wisconsin, and West Virginia. For Cancer states, that's New Hampshire, Virginia, Idaho, Wyoming. Now, what about the Leo states? Well, New York is one, Missouri's another, Colorado, Hawaii, and California. All right. No, excuse me, I stand corrected. Virgo is ruled by the sign, the state of California is ruled by the sign of Virgo. Of all the states, that's the only one that only has one state assigned to it. And that was on September the 9th of 1850, when it was established as a state in the United States. Okay. I meant to get the first 13 original states. I'll maybe do that in another time. As for, there are no Libra states. Okay. Aries and Libra, none at all. As for Scorpio states, that's North Carolina, Nevada, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Both were established on November the 2nd of 1889. Then Montana, then Washington, the state of Washington, then Oklahoma. Okay, so as for Sagittarian states, that is Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Indiana, Mississippi, Illinois, Alabama. As for the Capricorn states, well, that's Georgia, believe it or not, Connecticut, Texas, Iowa, Utah, New Mexico, and Alaska. That makes sense. It's very cold in Alaska, no question. And it's interesting that Capricorn rules the winter season. Okay. Anyway, Aquarius states, what about those? Massachusetts, Michigan, Oregon, Kansas, and Arizona. And finally, for the Pisces states, that's Vermont, Ohio, Maine, Florida, Nebraska, and Washington, D.C. that was established on February the 21st of 1871. All the dates and the years of establishment of these states within the United States is in my book, Lloyd's Book of Numbers, a numerology guide for the 21st century and beyond. So I decided to do some additional research today. So here's what I did. So I'm going to put it up on the screen. Here's what I did. I said, okay, Strayhorn, here we go. I look all the birthdays, number 1s through 9s, such as the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, the 28th, and then the 2nd, the 11th, the 20th, the 29th of the month. So what I did was I went through all 50 states, and I says, well, how many states was born on the 1st of the month? There were 5. The 10th of the month, there were 3. There are no states that was established in the United States on the 19th, but 2 of them were established on the 28th, which makes a total of 10. Then I went to number 2, such as those born on the 2nd, the 11th, the 20th, and the 29th of the month. So there were states that were 2 were established on the 2nd, 3 was established on the 11th, 1 on the 20th, and 4 of them on the 29th, which made for a total of 11. So of all the numbers from 1 to 9, 2 has the list, but then 2 governs the sign of Cancer, which happens to be the birth date of the United States, July the 4th. Next, the 3 category. The 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, and the 30th of the month. Well, there's 4 that were born on the established on the 3rd, 1 on the 12th, 4 on the 24th, and 1 on the 30th. That added up to a total of 10. As for the 4th of the month, that's the 4th, the 13th, 22nd, 31st of the month. 2 was on the 4th, none were on the 13th, and none were on the 22nd, which I thought was weird because the whole edifice and foundation of the United States was 13 stars, 13 stripes, 13 signs of the Declaration of Independence, et cetera, et cetera. But there's only a total of 3 states that was established on the 3rd date of the month. Then as for the 5th, 14th, and 23rd, as you see, no states within the United States was established on the 5th day of the month, but 3 was on the 14th, 1 was on the 23rd, which makes for a total of, did I do that right? It should have been 4. Okay. I do tend to make some errors. That is quite possible. I have to check that later. And if so, I'll stand corrected and make that correction on Monday. All right. For 6s, the 2 were born, 2 was established on the 6th, 2 on the 15th. None was established on the 24th, which made it a 4. Then for the 7th, there was 1 on the 7th of the month, 1 on the 16th of the month, and 1 on the 25th of the month, which made it a total of 3. Then on the 8th, now this is my own research, okay? I love researching and analysis and anything like that. So 1 was established on the 8th. No state in the United States was established on the 17th of the month, but 2 were established on the 26th, and one of them was New York. The state of New York was established on August the 26th, by the way, under the sign of Leo. And then there are 2 states that was established on the 9th, 1 on the 18th, and none on the 27th. So as you see, if it was the 19th, if it was the 13th, the 22nd, if it was the 24th, the 17th, and the 27th of the month, those states are absent. So I have a total of 50. I could have maybe, well, anyway, at least I thought I had 50. I'm going to check that. And by the way, one more thing too, by the element of the zodiac signs, okay, this was very interesting too. I says, okay, Lloyd, now this I got right. Of the 50 U.S. states, how many of these states came under fire signs? How many of them came under earth signs, under air signs, under water signs? And here's what made me think, which is actually, it triggered something I'm going to do with research. Of the fire states, let me see, I'm going to look at my book. Does any of these states known to have fires? You know, there's some that have earthquakes and tornadoes. I would expect that to be in air states. A lot of flooding, I expect those to be in water states, okay? But anyway, there were under the fire element, 11 states were under fire signs, 11 states were under earth signs, 11 states were under air signs, but 17 was under water signs. Okay, but that makes sense because, again, the United States was established under the water sign of Cancer. So this was my own little research. You might say, well, Lloyd, what that mean? You know, it's just me. It's just me. I'm curious about things like that. And in fact, I saw a program today where the lady couldn't remember because there's this whole thing about the assassination that you know, and she was talking about when was the last one. And I know for a fact that it occurred on March the 30th of 1981 in front of the Hilton Hotel in downtown DC. And it was President Ronald Wilson Reagan, because I just wrote an article in the Amsterdam News called The President-Elect's Chart, Part 1, Part 2. And as I was explaining the article of the 5 Aquarian presidents majority of them died in the month of April, which means it's late March into April. And so when she looked it up, there it was, March the 30th, 1981. So this was something I wrote back in 1980. You know what I'm saying? So I've been doing this for a while, but I like to do research on this. Also, I've started my professional workshop class yesterday. Nice. We're family. All of us are family here too. I consider all of you who come on a regular basis family. They don't seem to be about family anymore, but I'm definitely into family. That's for sure. And that's all you have at the end of the day. Anyway, let me go back and start from the beginning. And I want to thank everybody. If you got questions, please let me know. And I got to thank Empress Rel. Do you know I prepared for the show, but I forgot to turn it on about 10 minutes before the show? And Empress Rel called me and said, Stray, what's going on? She ain't call me Stray like that, but you know what I'm saying? Lloyd. And believe it or not, I forgot to, well, it goes like that sometimes. What can I tell you? I'm human. When I saw Walking on Water, then you can expect that. Okay, this is Eartha Pierce. Thank you so much, Eartha, and good evening to you. Um, and I like Stephen E. This is my buddy. You know, he's one of the regulars. And he hoping everyone have a blessed day. And Sister Maya, one of my favorites. All of y'all are my favorites, really. But you know, I got a little bit more than some of the others because I know her personally. Every now and then we bump into each other in the street. So it's really nice. And she's a beautiful spirit, a beautiful Virgo. And Marshall Benedict says, happy and blessed Wednesday to all. How fortunate we are to share time and space with each other. Job bless. And as I said, we need to think in terms of family. Family look out for each other. Family support each other. At least the family I grew up in, the environment I grew up in. Nowadays, it seems like families are a little bit more dysfunctional than they need to. Okay, and Kai Love says Magnificent Wednesday. And I read Cheryl the other day, I believe. Okay, so let me see. And K Color. And these are my regulars. These are the people that makes the show what it is. And so I thank all of you for taking me into the third year doing this, something I never thought about. And Soja says, I'm like 17. I don't know what that means other than if like 17, that means born on the 17th of the month or have a month, day, and year that's a 17-8, or under the sign of Capricorn, which is ruled the number 8, or whatever the case is. But anyway, I'm glad. Eight, in fact, in the tarot, the 17 card is called the 8-pointed star of Venus. It's a picture card of a kind of a nude woman kind of leaning over this lake, and there are cluster of pentacles, which is symbolic of money, and it denotes the number of immortality and the power of financial success. So if you got 17 anywhere, I shave for you. And this is Nicholas Noel from Trinidad. All right, I've been to Trinidad. It's a beautiful city, and of course, beautiful state. And of course, Stephen and Carol Williams from Chicago. They are my regulars. And okay, 100% Rotten Podcast says, Lloyd, what's up, though? Okay, I don't know what DEDOE means. I'm sure that means something. I'm not sure. But anyway, one of the things I'm going to be talking about too is how do you get this personal year, this personal day, this personal month? And then I came up with a concept totally different, which was the personal week concept. And I came about that as a result of a friend asking me all the time about these women he was meeting. It was on a regular. And he must have felt that I was like, okay, a little bored. And he threw at me, what about the personal week? I said, there is no such thing as a personal week. And you know what he said to me? Why not? That's why my classic book that I wrote 44 years ago, as of this year, Numbers in You. The you came from people that would ask me questions just out of, because New York is something else. What about this? And what about a car? And what about relationship? And what about this, that, and the other? And that all came as a result of it. So I named the title Numbers in You. All right. Yes, I do represent Harlem. I love Harlem. Harlem, do you know, just as a little tidbit, you got me started, Cook Colors. Do you know that when people come from all over the world to visit New York City, the number one tourist spot in all of the five boroughs is always Harlem? Harlem has a rich history. There was a renaissance that took place in Harlem that changed the cultural life of the city, from Charleston to everything. I mean, the numbers game even started in Harlem, okay, with Caspar Holstein, a gentleman that was from Caribbean, a Caribbean brother, by the way, born on December the 7th, and started the numbers game in Harlem. And Harlem, the numbers game, as a result, fed a lot of people during the Depression. All right. And so when there was the uh, prohibition that took place on January the 16th of 1920 something, Dutch Schultz was told by a city official downtown in New York that you need to go to Harlem because brothers was making money on pennies and nickels. There was no dollars and all that stuff. But all that's how it started. So the TV version is totally different than the real version, but I understand. Okay. And so they talk about Bumpy Johnson, which is good. By the way, he was known as the Exterminator. He had a business on the east side of Harlem, but it was a double tundra because he was exterminating really to get rid of roaches and mice and stuff like that. But he was also exterminating on another level. But so it be. Alrighty. So, but there's a lot of history. All of the great men of color, women of color, from Nora Zale Hurston to Malcolm X to Martin Luther King, Paul Robeson, you name them, you named them. The Black Swan recording label was established here in Harlem. In fact, right around the corner was where the publishing of the Black Star publication was done. And in fact, the Black Star line had a pier on 135th Street in the on the East River. I mean the West River, known as Riverside Drive now. So it's the history is just remarkable. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I love this neck of the woods. But people from all over the planet come here, and one of the places other than the Empire State and the Statue of Liberty, Harlem heads the list of tourism. Okay, don't take my word for it. Do the research yourself. Okay. So anyway, yes, and I thought that was very interesting, co-color. No Aries and no Libras. And here's the thing that's interesting. The United States numbers are the 2, 7, 1, and 4. That is the order. No, excuse me, I stand corrected. It is the 4, 1, 2, and 7. Okay, that is the proper layout of this country. The 4, the 1, the 2, and the 7 in that order. So in other words, they have sun moon numbers, this country. The main opposition numbers to the numbers of this country is the number 6 first, followed by the number 8, followed by the number 9. Well, 6 rules Libra and Taurus, and 9 rules Aries and Scorpio. So I just thought it was very interesting. Why that is, I don't know. I have no idea what was in the minds of those men and women. Well, it wasn't women because women wasn't allowed to vote until the 1920s anyway, so they didn't have too much to say. But what was in the minds of those men, and then what made them decide as they set up these states across this country, this United States, as they call it. Why somebody said, nah, man, we ain't doing no Aries. No, we ain't doing no Libras. What that about? That would be interesting to find out what that is about. So anyway, let me see. Okay. This is my man. See, Stephen says, show some respect and take off your shoes as you enter Lloyd's house. In other words, hit the like button. My man. See, this is what me and Stephen, we like that. Okay. You ain't got to take off your shoes, but I know what you're saying. That's thanks, Stephen. Thank you so much. And please tell the missus I said hi. All righty. Okay, let's see what we got here. For those that would like, a lot of these are just very nice comments, which I really appreciate. And I really do. And so Tylene and Miss Sylvia, these are the people. It's almost like I look for y'all every morning. Not that I need to do, not that I mean to. And as for Miss Whitehead, we talked earlier this week. Very interesting. And it's nice to see some of the people that comes into the room that I actually called over the phone and gave consultations to and stuff like that. All right. And so she talks about nature's native, says she loves this show. I do too. I always try to come up with something different, original. I still got more ideas coming up too. I've got new people coming on later this week. I mean, later this month. And this is Linda Taylor. She's out of Maryland. And let me see something. Okay, this is from Mo Blessed. They were on and they're from Toronto. Okay, I'm all about family. My wife and kids do not miss the show of Lloyd. Thank you so much. Yes, I do believe in family. Um, some say the family was kind of strategically destroyed, but there is no substitute for family. That's all I can tell you. There is none. There is none. And people do like the new picture of Empress Rel. She's beautiful anyway. And she is an Aquarius. For Tamara, thank you. Much love and blessings from New Zealand. Do you have any astrological forecast for August? Yes, I do. And let me explain. Hold on. Let me go over here and I will explain it in a moment. As you know, for for Aquarius or for August, every month I do the forecast. And what I do is I'll do something that's now on YouTube with Miss Kimberly. Hold on, let me take this off a second so you can see it. Hold it. Let me get something together here. Okay. 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 There we go. Well, every month now, we start out just as one show back in January, but it took on so much legs that I now do it every month with Miss Kimberly and I. We both sponsor each other's show. And what happens is there's a written version about the zodiac signs for July, and then there's the spoken one, which is interesting. So this is a snapshot of she and I talking about all the zodiac signs. So for August, you're going to have to wait a bit because it's not recorded as of yet. It will. The newsletter will be forthcoming too, but right now we just a little past the middle of July. And but if you want to read what was said for, let's say if you're August, you can got it there. And if you want to hear it, just go to YouTube. And it is the Astro Numerology forecast for July 2024. And when you click on, just click down at the bottom. You see at the bottom left, there's the topics. We talked about the months. We talked about this, that, and the other, July the 4th, and everything. We do that in month, each and every month. Okay. So that will help you get started. Now, let me see. Okay. All righty. Now, she says, wow, confirmed. I'm a 9 life path. Love New York, which has always been home for me. However, when I moved to Toronto back in June, I'm grateful and count my blessings every day. Now, I didn't do countries outside of that because each country has a dominion to an establishment. I just stuck within the United States because I started with the July 4th and then mentioned presidents because of the debates. And so all of that was up about that. I have nothing or response about the attempted assassination and whatnot. But here's what's interesting about that, though, and I will say this. Very few presidents have been assassinated in this country. Almost all of them have been air signs. The first one to be assassinated was Abraham Lincoln, an Aquarius, air sign. The second one was William McKinley, an air sign, January 29th. The third one, or the attempted one that I can remember, was John F. Kennedy on November 22nd of 1961 in Dallas, Texas, when he landed in Love Field. Okay. Then the fourth one was the attempted assassination on Ronald Wilson Reagan on March the 30th of 1981 in front of the Hilton in downtown Maryland. And now Donald Trump. So what dawned on me just now when my brain went through this, all of them to date have been air signs. There have been no, and even then there was an attempted assassination on Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I think when he was going for a second or third term in Chicago, and the mayor that was with him, Sir Mac, that was born on the 6th of the month, he was caught in the crisscross and died as a result. Although Roosevelt escaped assassination, but they've all been air signs. I don't know what that's about. I'll probably do some research on it, but that's thanks for triggering that. Whoever did that, okay, yeah. But anyway, I just think that's interesting. That maybe I might do something on that, and not so much about so and so and so and so. Um, because everybody when they get into the politics, really, I like to get into my numbers, and I like to see number patterns. Um, so that means there have been two Gemini. There have been three Gemini presidents: John F. Kennedy, George Herbert Walker Bush Sr., and Donald Trump. Uh, but the majority of them who have died in office were all air signs, with the exception of Ronald Wilson Reagan. And only because after that event on March the 30th of 1981, she called in Evangeline, no, not Evangeline Adams. She was out of another time frame. But she called in Kathleen Quinn or Quinlan. I'll think of the name anyway. I know the astrologer she called him was an Aries. And she made sure that when her husband, that is Nancy Reagan, went anywhere outside the country, in the United States, he didn't do anything until the astrologer consulted the conditions of things. So that's how roles. So when you read your horoscopes in the newspapers and in magazines, and they make it look like kind of cute and stuff like that. For those in power, they understand the seriousness of this. So if you took J.P. Morgan, the famous financier, born on April the 17th, when told in his days in the 1900s, is it true that astrology makes millionaires? His response was no, it makes billionaires, because he hired the services of Evangeline Adams. And in her book, The Bowl of Heaven, her autobiography, see, that's the beauty of reading. See, right now they got everybody on these screens and tablets and phones, but a lot of the stuff is in books. And in her book, The Bowl of Heaven, she explained how not only did she meet J.P. Morgan, she also taught J.P. Morgan. And J.P. Morgan also had astrologers on his staff. Now, he died on March the 31st of 1915. Now, that's a whole wow. But isn't J.P. Morgan Bank still existing to this day? So you wonder, what I'm saying? It makes you wonder and stuff like that. Anyway, enough of the footnotes. Let me go to Abdul Reese. I hope I'm saying it right. You are born on November the 29th, which makes you a fire sign with a watered number. Now, that might be kind of contradictory, and it is to a degree, because fire and water, as a rule, don't mix unless you're taking hot showers in the morning and in the evening, okay? But the fire sign of Sagittarius says you rule by Jupiter. So to an astrologer, this would be a Jupiter-moon relationship. And so therefore, passionate with the fire, proactive with the fire, somewhat dictatorial, all depending on the cases. And yet at the same time, this would be passionate, sensitive, emotional. And this birthday triggers up my cousin, Billy Strayhorn, that wrote Take the A Train, Lush Life, Passion Flower, that was all given to Duke Ellington for credit. Okay, but Duke Ellington he didn't write Take the A Train. Billy Strayhorn did. Duke Ellington didn't write Passion Flower. Billy Strayhorn did. And in fact, what's so amazing is this. Billy Strayhorn was born on this day, November the 29th, and Duke Ellington was born on April the 29th. Both of them were born on the 29th. And in fact, there's a story that when these two, I'm off on a tangent. This is kind of how this is. This must be Free Wednesday today. But the point is that there was a piece in a storyline where both of them wrote a tune, and the first several bars was exactly alike. But that kind of makes sense to me. They were both born on the 29th of the month. Anyway, okay. Anyway, so anyway, Abdul says, I'm ready to make a total career change from trucking to the film industry. I'm not sure exactly when to make that move. Okay, I got you. See, because all of you, each and every one of you listening, have what is called angel numbers. I used to call them lucky numbers, but they're angels. Well, when it's lucky, don't you have an angel over your shoulder in that sense? Well, your numbers, first of all, starts off on is the 2, the 7, and the 3. Once I'm able to establish your angel numbers, that tells me what your angelic days, which is always on a Monday, a Thursday, and a Friday. So when you want to make your move, those are the days you plan to execute to make your moves. Not only that, but then it goes into angelic days, such as the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 7th, the 11th, the 12th, and the 16th, the 20th, the 21st, 25th, 29th, and 30th of the month. Those are the angelic dates. Then you got months within those years, too. And those months would always be in March and May, July, especially October and December. Every single one of you listening in this program today, every single one of you the beauty about the Most High is he didn't leave no one out, not no one. Whoever you are, all of you got numbers that are favoring you versus someone else. But we so busy looking at somebody else's, what they're doing. We need to focus on what we're doing and what we got and how to take advantage of our situation. So those will be the best moves for you. And so when I looked at your personal year, right now you're in a full personal year. How did I do that, Lloyd? Very simple. I mentally took the month and day he's born and added it. Instead of the year 1985, I substituted it, and in its place I put 2024. So mentally, so 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 12, and 1 plus, no, 2. He's in a, yes. So 2 plus 2 plus 8 equals 12. So he's in a 3 personal year. Now 3 is one of your numbers. Your numbers are the 2, 7, and 3. 3 rules Sagittarius. 3 rules good luck, prosperity. So the best move is going to be definitely somewhere around late August into September, and late September into October. That's when you're going to make the move. But make it on a Monday, a Thursday, or a Friday, and especially on a date. And I got my moon book here, but we ain't going to do that. But especially on a date that adds up to the single digit of a 2 or a 3 or a 7. And you'll find that everything should go that way. And let us know how you did too. More than likely, whatever the job is, you probably work around a lot of women because your birthday suggests you get along very well with a lot of females. So for example, taking Billy Strayhorn, Lena Horne was in love with some Billy Strayhorn, the famous actress and singer of her time. And she happened to have been a Cancer born on June the 30th. Okay, anyway, enough of that. All righty, let's see what we got here. All right. Reading is very powerful, folks. I cannot tell you how important it is to put your face in a book. You'd be surprised. Be surprised how much you learn. Because a lot of these things, you got pop-up ads now, pop-up commercials, and it's a distraction. But I ain't trying to knock the media in that sense. But there's nothing like an old-fashioned book to kind of get lost in. All right, this is Jeff White. Jeffrey is born October the 5th. Now, he's an air sign with an air number. Now, here's what that means to me. Air is always in their head. So the fact that he's air and air means he's always in his head, probably. Always thinking about something, always trying to figure out something, this, that, and the other. Not only that, but when I mentally took his month and date of birth and added it to this year, he's in a 5 personal year. So he's in a year that matches his main number, not like the first caller that matches his 3rd position number. The cycle he's in this year matches his 1st position number, which is a 5. So as I explained, it's like 2 fingers, and the midway point is a 5. So this is a pivotal cycle for you, my friend. And so, Jeffrey, you're going to find that if you want to kind of get off the dime and get it together, this is the year for it. Let there be no question. This year is full of opportunities. And the nice part about it, you happen to be a Libra, and next year you'll be in a 6 personal year because your numbers are 5, 6, and 9. These are your angel numbers. So that means it's, and see what I do when I say something up the road, I kind of go back in the past. So this is going to be a similar cycle for you, Jeff, as it was in the fall of 2015 into 2016, like it was in 2006 into 2007. Okay. And like it was, believe it or not, in the cycle of 1998 into 1999. Of course, you was a kid. You was a young kid at that time, but it could have been a major change. Parents could have moved. It could have been a shift, change of schools, all those kind of things. A sibling born into the family, whatever the case is. But more recently, for you, it would have been 2015 and the 2016 that's about to take place right now for 2014 and the 2025. And if you can remember that, you'll be the wiser. And again, your best days are always on a Wednesday, a Friday, and a Tuesday. Not Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, but Wednesdays first, Friday second, then Tuesday. And your best months are always in April, May, and June, followed by September, October, and November. Let me tell you, the Most High, in His infinite wisdom, knew exactly how to guide us. All we have to do is pay attention. But we're not taught these things, but people in power know these things. People in positions know these things. Kings, queens, leaders of states and nations and government. Even Napoleon had an astrologer. Napoleon, the general. And what happens is when the astrologer was trying to give him the nationals about, boy, you about to meet your Waterloo. This was in 1815, okay? They didn't let him go through the lines. Imagine had the astrologer got through to him and said, like, yo, he wouldn't have said it like that, but you know what I'm saying. Like, excuse me, General, okay, Mr. Napoleon. This is what's up for this. This is what I see in the stars and whatnot. This has been going on since the beginning of time. Even Hitler had astrologers too. And once that was toward I understand the astrologers defected from Germany and came to England. And so all powerful men and women since the beginning of time have used the arts of astrology and numerology. And what's happening now, it seems commonplace, but these things, but of course, they're not going to advertise it. I mean, I've read politicians, they would never tell you that because it would look kind of crazy on their thing. Well, sticking the mic up in their face, or what are you and stuff. So, but I do understand. But let me tell you this. If you understood how nature works, how the source works, how the creator, how God works, there are reasons for us to come into this planet, leave this planet, and it all depends on the contributions we make or don't make. Okay. So I'm saying we all play a very important role. So do this. Okay. This woman, Barbara, she is born on 6/24/62. Please help me with anything. I'm a woman. My name is Barbara. Okay, Barbara, I got that. That's my sister's name too. And my sister, she got a lot of ones in her name. She don't take orders well. So her life path is a 3. Now, let me say this to you, novice. When you take the month, the day, and the year you're born, that is called several names: life path, birth path, destiny number, etc. The way I explain it, the month, the day, and the year you're born tells me what school you are in the school of life. So in my case, I would say, Barbara, you're in the 3rd grade in the school of life. Now, because most of us have gone to school, we understand the principle. If you're in a certain grade, there's certain things you got to learn before you go to the next grade. So in the 3rd grade, or in the 3 life path, that means being creative, being expansive, being positive, being optimistic, being imaginative, expressive, things like that. And there's a lot to it. It also indicates along this journey, she will attract Pisces and Sagittarians to her, although she is a Cancer 6th lady, and anybody born on the 3rd, 12th, 21st, or 30th of the month, etc., etc., etc. There is so much to this. This is why I enjoy this. And I'm trying to get you to understand how important every single one of you are. And let me tell you this, sometimes if I can't get you, don't take it personal. There's so many people call. Now, Barbara, you wrote in about 4 times now, 5 times. You can't do that because my moderators instructed, only because so many other people are trying to get through. Now, there's 1 or 2 others that's done this. And, I'm asking politely, but I'm going to insist that if you do it more than this is the 5th time. But if you do this, I'm going to have to instruct my moderators to please put it on block. Not that I want to, but it needs to get, so this way I can get to as many people as I can. All righty. Okay. But anyway, by the way, Barbara, you are a Cancer 6, and your numbers are the 6, 2, and 7. And your best days are always on a Monday and actually it's Friday first, then a Monday. It's just a reverse. It's Friday first, then Monday. Okay. All righty. This is Tasha. She says her birthday is March the 1st. So that means you are a water sign with a fire number. And it means, Tasha, because I'm looking at your name and I'm looking, you got one, two, three, four ones. So it tells me you're headstrong. You got many, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So out of five, about 13, 14 letters in your name, the overwhelming majority of them fall in the youthful category. Here's what that tells me about you, Tasha Barnes. Catron. I hope I'm pronouncing the last name right. You're born in 71, but you don't look it. You could say you was almost born in 1985, and nobody would probably, only because I'm looking at a lot of youthful numbers in your name, and you're born under the youthful sign of Pisces, and you're born under the youthful number of the number one. So if to me, younger guys hit on you, that would come as no surprise to me. Okay. So that's all I'm saying. And not only that, but men from different cultures too, but your numbers are the 1, 4, and 3. Okay, Sotra is October the 10th. And this way, if I look at this, your month and year says you're in the 8th grade in the school of life. That means being very philosophical, approaching life with a mature understanding and a mature mindset. It means thinking in terms of, and it's interesting, I notice people in the 8th grade tend to be children of fate or destiny. So, for example, when you get married, because you're not even 22 yet, but let's say when you marry, whoever you marry may not be the person you had planned to marry, but it's fate or destiny, because 8 or Saturn is the planet of fate or destiny. That the person has one thing, but it seems that the heavens have a whole nother thing in their design for them too. So that's all. But I'm looking at all those zeros. You got 4 zeros. That's the number of infinity. You got 2 ones and 2 twos. You got an interesting combination of numbers in your birthday, that I can tell you. And it indicates between your 19th and 22nd birthday. So since you are about 20, you'll be 22. That tells me either a couple of years ago or right about now, you're ready to step out on faith and do what you got to do for yourself. And since you don't take orders, well, you need to eventually have your own business. Okay. And again, Barbara, I gotta tell you this, you've done this about 6 or 7 times. Please do not do this again, please, because I'm going to tell my moderators to put it on block. I'm just trying to be fair to other people that want to get through. Tylene is March the 5th. So it tells me she's in a 7 personal year, which is more spiritual. It governs the law of attraction, things of that nature. She's born at 8:35 p.m. So her sun is probably sitting in the 5th house, which is the house of Virgo, analysis, research, and things like that. The house of health. No, 6 is a house of health. So this is 5th. This is the one. This would deal with cancers. So a strong mothering, nurturing nature, things of that nature. But it indicates this year your angel numbers are the 5, 6, and 3 in that order. And your angelic days are always on a Wednesday, Friday, and Thursday in that order. Not Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but Wednesday, then Friday, then Thursday. It's like opening a safe. If you don't open the safe with the right combination, you ain't getting in. Okay. You can have the numbers, but if you don't have the number, the order of the number and how you're going to get it, you can't open it and get in. So that's how you get yours. And you'll find that those are your best days. And you're blessed with 6 months too. You're lucky. Okay. Now, this is interesting. Cheryl Lee says, what are the connections? Her mother's born on the 29th of 1931. Her husband is born on the 29th of 1955. Now, what's interesting is, I don't know whether your mother was still living at the time you married this gentleman, but I would say your mother should have taken to him like a duck to water, because they're both numbers of the 2, 7, and 6. They're both Libran 2s. And so that meant that your mother, he would have loved his mother-in-law, so to speak, because sometimes there's that stereotype about the mother-in-law cause problem. I would say that would not been an issue with her. They both would have liked to collect. They both had stomach concerns too. So that may have been a concern with your mom when she was coming up, very sensitive and picky about her eating habits, dietary laws, and you may have found that your husband would exhibit those qualities too, because normally from the birthday, normally concerns with gas and ulcers, tumors, hemorrhoids, diabetes, things of that nature. Um, for your husband, he is in a one personal year, which means he needs to make a fresh start. So what that means coming up for 2025, he'll be in a two that matches his number. And it means he's ready to make a transition around the residence, transitions around work. If he's still working, he's probably retired, born in 55, since he's about 70, 60, 60 or 70, something like that. And, or maybe on the edge of retiring. And I would say your husband is a hobbyist too. Okay. And very intuitive. This is Neville's. Neville's, how you doing, buddy? Do you think there will be an elected president based on their number charts? You know what? I've tried to stay away. I've always done predictions on presidents and stuff like that, and football games. I did one back in February in the Super Bowl. It was a nail biter, which it was. Um, this one says to kind of leave this alone, other than the fact that this attempted assassination over the weekend on Saturday, which, by the way, is Trump's not one of his best days. I wouldn't have had him do that on a Saturday. But again, I don't know the politics of how these speakers go. But just as you have good days, you have days that are not good for you. Saturday is not one of his best days. Not only that, Thursday too is not one of his best days. In fact, when he was indicted on the 34 counts here in New York City, it was on March the 30th. 3 is opposition number. Then it was on a Thursday too. So again, this is why it's important. Again, that's why I developed the app, a Star 8 app. So you could look at your calendar and you can see all the green is go, all the red is slow or no. And so then it's up to you to make intelligent decisions about how you're going forward. Hanging out, one thing, but something important, that's another. But I will look at that. I'll probably look at that. But normally, I've been doing that for a long time. This is Princess K444. All righty. And she's born on the 4th. You happen to be in a 5 personal year, Princess, which means you're going into a 6 personal year. One of the major opposition numbers to the number 4 is the number 6. Now, that doesn't mean you go into a panic. Doesn't mean you hide under a rock, because you can't avoid it anyway. But what you do is have the understanding of how to deal with it. Going into a 6 of any person's cycle means you're going to enter a period where duty, responsibilities, and obligations is a requirement. Okay? It normally has to do with the appearance. It normally has to do with the relationships. It normally has to do with the finances. It normally has to do with the education. It normally has to do with areas connected with the health. And so, if you've been on top of your game because you're only born in 1996, which you should, the health shouldn't be an issue. In fact, you should be stronger. But it would be a good time to go back to school. And because I noticed that when women are about to enter into a 6-month, 6-week, 6-year, like you will be entering, that tells me in about another month or 2 or 3, no, within another 1.5 to 2 months or 2.5 at most, you're going to change your whole hairstyle. You're going to look totally, totally different. Okay, that I can guarantee you. And it means also some adjustments. So that's what it means. But it means you like to think outside the box and a little bit sensitive. Okay. All right. This is Chrisma, and she said her brother passed away on July 1st. His birthday was October the 21st. So I don't know the year what year he was passing through. And so when people have asked me, do I know how long I'm gonna live? No, because even if I did, I ain't gonna tell you anyway. Because the creator, see, for me in my mind, this is how I think. The creator's gonna say, "Oh, you're trying to get in my lane, okay? Well, guess who ain't gonna be here tomorrow? You." So if I did know, I wouldn't tell nobody. No. And not only that, we humans are something else. And I'll say one more time that if somebody asks me when were they going to expire, and I'll say, well, on this month and day at this time, and about 2-3 months later on, after they sold all their worldly possessions, they ain't going nowhere. They still walking around this planet with all the drama and bills and pressure. Next thing I know, I'm going to get a call from their lawyer with a lawsuit because I done gave all my worldly possessions. You said we are something else, human beings. That's all. So no, I don't do that. But God bless him. That's all I can say. And but each number rules health. So it rules low blood pressure, kidneys, the hip, thighs, feet. It was under the sign of Libra, which means allergies, heart palpitations, irregular blood circulations, things like that. Anyway, okay. Now this one's Sacred Space says 22 personal year. Is that Master 22 or number 4? Well, it all depends on how you add. Let me tell you, there's several ways how people add. They'll say, let me take August 22nd, 1979 as an example. They'll say 8 plus 4 plus 8 equals 22. Okay? That's one way. Or they'll say 8 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 9 plus 7 plus 9 will equal, well, it equals more than 22. I think it equals about 31 or something like that. The proper way, if you're going to get your master number, is you put your month at the top, 8. Underneath, you put your day, 4. Underneath, you put your year, 1979. You draw your lines, add your column down, add it across. So it all depends on how you looked at your 22. So I'll put it like this. If you are a 22, that means you should be functioning at a very high level, doing some dynamic things about almost visionary, futuristic nature. If it's a 4, it simply tells me that you will have secret enemies through jealousy, envy, insecurity, things of that nature, even though you're just trying to do your job and handle your business. And it tells me whether you're master number 22 or 4. It tells me definitely without question going to attract some very odd and unusual relationships where people are going to say, what is that about? All right. Now, George Rivera, you said what the future hold, but you didn't give me a birthday. But I tell you this, the name George under the Chaldean system adds up to 25, which is called the power of observations. That means you have the power of paying attention to the things that go. In other words, you don't go to sleep on a lot of things, okay? And if I looked at Rivera right quick, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that tells me, George Rivera, that your name attracts those under the signs of Pisces, Cancer, Libra, Taurus, or they will be born on the 2nd to 6th to 7th, the 11th to 15th to 16th, the 20th to 24th, 25th, or 29th of the month. And it tells me not only are you very observant with this name, you do well in the arts as a kid, as an adult going into things like law, medicine, real estate, banking, things like that, but ultimately in the world of service to the community as a teacher, a nurse, a counselor, things of that nature. Okay. This person says, peace, Barbara Strayhorn, which is my sister's name. They recently came upon Billy Strayhorn last week and wondered if they're all related. Yes, Barbara Strayhorn is my sister. Yes, she is. Billy Strayhorn is my cousin. I think we're about third or fourth cousin. He was born, I forgot where, but I know he was raised in Pennsylvania. And then he came to New York expressly for the purpose of seeing Duke Ellington. And he came to 125th Street and he took the A train. That's how the A train came into existence. He wrote the lyric as he was going uptown to see him in Washington Heights at building 555 on Edgecombe Avenue. See, this is the beauty when you read. It ties everything in together. Read, folks, read. There's nothing like watching your TV and your phone and your tablet. I ain't saying that. But read, for goodness sake. So many things that we know are written in the books. You just got to read. That's all. Yeah, but we're related. Yes, benefit for us. You know my sister? I didn't know that. So anyway, go to astar8.com to download my site. You can either see it on whether you got an Android or whether you got an Apple, download it from there. And when you do, give it 5 stars, please. Help a brother out. Thank you, if you don't mind. Okay, this is Renee, 1111. Now, all the numbers that people see or claim as an angel number is 1111. I think I talked to somebody the other day. Their wife was 1111. The father was 1111. The son was, In fact, it was one of the students from last night's course, Brother Leo. He said his mother was 1111, his wife was 1111, the son was 1111. 1111 was all over the house. That was the most interesting conversation yesterday in class. But this simply means in your case, you're in a 3-year, which means things open up, opportunity begin to expand themselves. You would need to widen your contacts and things like that too. That's what that reveals. But anyway, my time is up for the meantime. Let me take one or two more. No, let me just take one more. Let me just go and see if anybody, I need to see something 1 second. Because if anybody's made a donation, I don't want to think I'm ignoring them. Because actually I get a chance to look at all my comments after the show because I'm trying to talk and focus and answer questions at the same time. Okay. I think this is it. Okay. But anyway, I want everybody to have a very good time, a safe weekend. My intended guest, which I'm trying to confirm now, is Amira Hassan, who does cards. So she's going to be here to grace us with her presence. And then I have somebody coming on for Wednesday. Her thing is about mental health. And I'll have all that ready for you Monday. Okay. So I don't see any donations. Thank you. I just want to make sure nobody feels left out because I will acknowledge it if everything else. Okay. All of y'all take good care in the meantime. Okay. And I mean it very much, very, very much. We have a limited time on this planet. What we need to do is try to be the best at what we do and make some contribution to humanity as against getting caught up. I don't like your hair and I don't like your nails. And it's, Shakespeare once wrote this play called Much to Do About Nothing. Okay. Or maybe it was a phrase, if not the title of a book he wrote. But it is. And we get caught up into much to do about nothing. And even if she got hair you don't like, is she going to come and pay your bills? Is she going to come and buy your food? Really? Is that it? And so all of this is distractions. And I think it's really designed to distract rather than to focus on what you need to do for yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, it's always in the if you don't, who will? That is the bottom line. But anyway, I want to thank all of you very, very much. And oops, somebody made a donation. This is Sacred Space. Thank you. See, that way I didn't leave anybody out. Okay, very good. And as Earth Appears says, good night, family. And you're all my family as far as I'm concerned. And with family, let us love each other. Because if not, let me tell you, the way it is out here, the way this economy and everything is going, it's going to get worse, I'm afraid, before it gets better. And having family is going to be far more important than thinking you can do it alone. No one can do this alone. Not what's about to come down the pike. I'm trust me on this. You better have family. You get, if not, find a family, make a family, create a family. That's what you need to do. Okay. So everybody, I thank you very, very much. And let me see something here. Okay. Oh, by the way, let me first of all thank Jackie Barrios. Wait, yeah. Let me do this 1 second. Take the comment off. Okay. And before I go, I do want to say a special thanks to Jackie Barrios. And she motivated me to do this. I did not want to do it. She says, Lloyd, you can do it. I don't feel like doing it. But I thank her from the bottom of my heart. She, you women, y'all got some, I ain't got no problems with the sisters, okay? And she told me to do it. And her colleague, her road dog, and between those two, they motivated me. And to this day, so when you go to my Lloyd-Strayhorn.com website, this is the young lady that does it. When you receive the newsletter, she's the one that puts it together. But this is the lady that made it happen. It's going on 3 years. So I just want to acknowledge those two again, and also acknowledge my sponsors such as Nicholas Brooklyn. Okay, 50 years in business. I'm going to have her on somewhere in August. I'm waiting till July is over for her. It's at 1396 Fulton Street. Definitely, please go visit the store. To Brother Riza Islam. By the way, when you order the products, Just say with the code, type in numbers so you can get the discount. And these are all the things that's free of the metals and the glutens and the soy and the sweeteners and the fillers and the colors and animal byproducts and whatnot. So you're getting a good quality product. And as soon as you open the jar, it smells so good. It smells natural or organic. To also Baba, or I should say Brother King Simon, which is my brother. He's family, definitely. So he's got his thing coming up. And believe it or not, October is going to be right around the corner before you know it. Also, Miss Kimberly, which I thank very, very much, who sponsors my show. Hers comes on every Monday and Wednesday mornings. Also, I'm blessed for my moderator, Jackie Levine. Go to her podcast and check it out. And by the way, today is the last day my classes are on sale. So I have an online class, I have a TikTok class, then I have a class that I've just started yesterday, and I'm going to start another one in September 22nd. So for those that miss out on this one and you'd like to be a part of the one September coming up, just write into a star8llc@gmail.com. That's a star8llc@gmail.com, and just get your interest and we'll send you some information. But today is the last day that these 3 courses are all on sale. And of course, my monthly newsletter is absolutely free. I don't sell your mailing list. I will repeat it until it hits home. And by the way, if you don't want to read what was set for your sign, you can hear what was set for your sign. When Miss Kimberly and I do this each and every month. And as you see, it's on YouTube, and you do that. And again, for those of you who download my app, a star 8, you'll find that your angel numbers and then angelic numbers and the numbers that stress you are numbers of there. I don't know what to call the stress numbers. They ain't gonna be devil. It ain't that kind of party. I ain't into that. But these are I would say these are your bump in the road numbers. How's that? That sounds much better. You're bumping the roads, because we all have bump in the roads in life. Okay, everybody. I think that's it, folks. Y'all have a nice day. I'll see you. Have a great weekend.